Alrighty then, hey guys, what's up? It's me, Priscilla, and I'm coming to you today with a fun unboxing, as well as just like, let's try out these art supplies. Now, these are Arrtx brush tip acrylic markers. If you have worked with any acrylic markers before, like paint markers, then you will love these. These are the most perfect, in my opinion, they're the most perfect acrylic paint markers for sketchbooks or just like drawings in general. I have not tried it out on a canvas yet, but I really love using these because they're really easy to color with, as opposed to if you guys ever used like Posca pens. Posca pens, you have the danger zone of them throwing up all over your art, but these, you don't really have the danger zone of that. They're just nice brush tips, and if you need more ink, you just press down lightly and more comes out. It's very nice. And then they sent me this A5 Mixed Media Sketchbook by Arrtx, and I like it. It was fun, but you'll see towards the end of my painting while I'm walking you guys through this that the actual like page starts to kind of curl in on itself, just because that's just what happens when there's too much mixed media on it or a heavy medium on the pages, and it starts to curl inward. But that's okay. It still took it really well, and I didn't see no ripping up of pages or anything when it came to this. And plus, I have used these Artics Markers since December. I actually bought some for myself as a gift in Christmas. For Christmas. More likely somebody gave me an Amazon card and I went and purchased it for myself. So these are awesome to work with sketchbook pages. I've used them on two different sketchbooks. One is my Plumchester sketchbook, and then I have in my little like tiny pink sketchbook and my tiny purple sketchbook. So the overall effect of the markers is it doesn't really like pull up the pages, and like I said, it's really important with any medium when it comes to any sketchbook. If a medium is going to start making the little flaky flakes all over your sketchbook and it's just not cool, and then eventually that leads to a hole leading to the other side of your sketchbook pages, and I'm not a fan of that. That's why I always tell my students, if you are at home and you want a watercolor, never use computer paper because the paper is just not built for it. This sketchbook they sent me is definitely built for mixed media. It really does take it well. You see right there, now it's starting to curl up on the corner of my little sun. So yes, just be wary of that. That's about it. But I feel like all sketchbooks kind of have that limit. So let's talk about the piece that I'm doing right now. I slowed it down a ton. So if you guys ever are bored during the summer and you want something fun to do, this is a great project to do. I recently just did this with my summer camp with teenagers that I taught this year. And it's a ton of fun because you get to experiment with not only cool tones and warm tones, but also making kind of like I want to say serialist. Sounds like I'm addicted to cereal or something. Surrealism. But just being imaginative, and you guys probably have seen this before. It's all over Pinterest. All these fun, fluffy pink and orange and yellow clouds, and then versus like the moon with the different color tones and the cool tones, warm tones. But it's a great way if you guys are ever like teaching on something like this. It's a great way to teach warm colors and cool colors. So that's why I wanted you guys to look as I'm talking. You don't have to pay attention to me talking, but it's just a great way, like I said, if you're bored, because I got bored during the summers, and usually I always dedicated one huge painting to my summer, and I got that painting done. And when I say huge painting, I bought like a 24 by 36 painting, and it was huge, and I would complete it. And one year it was like a whale jumping over the moon. The other was like an Alice in Wonderland, Tim Burton one with the Mad Hatter sleeping in his chair. So if you're a person that absolutely is like indoors only during the summer, then this is a project for you. Because let me tell you, I'm an indoor person. I live in North Carolina, and it's been like 90 degrees the past couple of days. So it's been pretty bad. I can't imagine anyone else like in Texas or whatever. I don't even want to fathom it. I am so sorry. Even though I'm using these acrylic based markers, you don't have to use the acrylic based markers. This is really fun to like do with these Artics markers, but you can also just do an acrylic painting, like a canvas painting, or if you guys have like really thick watercolor paper, you can even use that and use your acrylic paints. My favorite thing when I was using these markers is, one, I did a whole spread, if you guys remember, in my tiny pink sketchbook, where I drew a bunch of the pink characters only using these Artics markers. But I also use it for little embellishments in my pink tiny sketchbook, like an outline or little designs and everything, and I'm right now currently using them to draw all the Inside Out characters in honor of Inside Out 2 coming out in theaters. And if you're a fan of like the opaque look, you can see looking at these, and you can see the opaqueness of it. So it's nice, solid colors. You can't see where my lines were from my pencil, even though I'm like going right over it. That's what's really magical about this. I mean, that's what's magical about acrylic paint and these is that they have the power to go right over those marks from your pencil and just cover them right up, and then they disappear. And the more you put like layering, you are able to layer with these. I layered on the sun's face. I don't know if I showed it, but I did go back and I did another layer of yellow because yellow is already kind of light. Duh. So it's already light, and I just wanted to make sure that it was like a nice flat color. I didn't want it to like see through or anything, and I just wanted to make it that nice solid color. So you can layer with these. It's really nice. And the thing too is they do not bleed over to the other side. Another thing that's magical about acrylic paint, or if you even work with acrylic gouache, these do not bleed onto the other side of your sketchbook pages. In fact, in my tiny pink sketchbook, if I was able to draw on the other side of my tester page that I did once I got my first set of Artics markers. The only downfall was that one side was Artics markers that does not bleed through to the other side, but anything on the other side that you draw on that page where your Artics markers on, like alcohol-based markers, it did bleed through. And I mean, it did not like go into my Artics like acrylic paint marker like land. It did not do that. The alcohol-based markers did bleed through to the other side of the page, but it was kind of a cool effect because I can take my Arrtx acrylic markers and go on the back of my Ohuhu-based marker drawings, and I can draw something pretty solid, and the acrylic paint will not seep through to the other side. That's what I like about these a lot, is just this is not going to bleed through to the other side unless you water them down. That's the only reason I could think that if you water down a bunch of acrylics, then yeah, it might bleed through to the other side. Or if you're working with acrylic gouache, if you really water it down, like you're treating it like watercolor and building up your layers, chances are, yeah, it's gonna bleed through to the other side. But that's just, I mean, that's just common sense. But these, thankfully, are not watered down at all. They are water-based because, yeah, acrylic paint, but they do not have like a watery effect. There's no throw up, and you guys can see with me going through this entire like little tutorial, this inspiration for you guys later to go create some nice fluffy colorful clouds. And you guys did see the pink and the purple when I was recording. I don't know what happened. I thought I pressed record, but sometimes, you know, if you guys do any art recording, sometimes you think you press the record button and then it doesn't get it at all, and you don't realize it until you're at the end of the whole process video and you're like, oh my gosh, are you for real? But yes, water-based, doesn't bleed through to the other side, nice thick opaque paint. I'm a huge fan of these, and if I honestly had to tell you guys, you know, if you wanted to start out like working with acrylic-based markers or paint markers, these are beautiful to work with. Or if you have friends or family that love to doodle in their sketchbooks, or if you're selfish like me and you get an Amazon card, buy them for yourself. But yes, I got the 60 colors off of Amazon, and I'll put the links down below to where you guys can get them. They also have a website page. They have a whole lot of other options. They have oil pastels. They have colored pencils. I was kind of eyeing those colored pencils thinking, I think I want to try these. But if you guys want to follow along, I am doing, like I said, all the Inside Out 2 emotions because there's a ton now. And I saw the movie. It's so good. If you guys, honestly, Pixar is back. When I watched this movie, I was like, I've waited 9 years for this movie. I feel so old, but it was really good. So follow along with me with that. And Arrtx, thank you so much for these beautiful markers. I'm having so much fun with them. So yeah, I hope you guys go check it out, and I will see you guys later. Thanks for listening and watching. I hope you guys try this little project out. It's fun, and summer is long and it's really hot. So stay inside, stay cool, and put sunscreen on. Bye!